All right, welcome to the next in our Gunfighter Challenge coursework. Today we're going to talk about morning mobility and why it's important. All right, so as I spoke with before during the intro and kind of doing the move, I believe the 80% solution for move out of move, fight, recover is morning mobility. You could do this any time of day. It doesn't really particularly matter. It's better that you do it than not do it, but I do think it's better in the morning. It does get your blood flow going. It helps the lymph fluids and all the other fluids, digestion, etc., get going when you start in the morning. Also, it just kind of wakes you up a little bit. So I think that's good. So what does morning mobility do? Lubricates the joints. It also gets the nutrition there. If you are not moving your joints through ranges of motion, all that healthy nutrition you're putting in is probably not getting to the places it needs to, because you got to pump muscles and tendons and things like that to kind of push all that stuff through. Joint mobility can just kind of help in that process. So when we talk about position of dominance, we'll get into it here in a little bit about the mind map, but it facilitates that position so that you can get into better positions that your body may not be super familiar with. So maybe it's not a squat, but you're doing something that is kind of out of the ordinary. And the more joint mobility you do, the more exposure you have, the better your nervous system will allow you to do that. Which gets us into injury prevention and performance. So there's a concept with kinesthetic awareness, where as you're building a better map to your brain of, hey, if I put my wrist in this position, I know that position and I kind of have a better idea of where it is in time and space. So as you put your joints and your body into different positions, it starts to build a better map. This is one of the reasons why you see Olympic athletes that have multiple sports before they actually start competing in an individual sport. The more exposure you have to different things, the better your body responds to, you could call it the unknown, but more the positions you haven't necessarily been in often. If you've never been in a dynamic split and you slip on ice, the chances of you having an injury are dramatically higher than if you have done that in a mobility program or in an exercise or in sport. The chances of you building up, as you build up in that, the chances of you having an injury are much lessened. What I've also found is that you have better coordination. Not sure the exact mechanics behind why you have better coordination, but I have a feeling it has to do with that same mind map, where as you do morning mobility more and more often, you tend to develop better coordination of everything, if that kind of makes sense. It's kind of one of those things you don't really think about it until you notice it. You're like, oh, you know what? I do have better coordination after I've done joint mobility more often. So that's kind of the gist of the morning mobility. Now it could be, you could do it throughout the day, but I find earlier in the day is better. So for us and our team, we tend to do 12 minutes to 18 minutes in the morning. And there is one session that is 30 minutes on the weekend. But as a general rule, during the weekdays, you're looking at 12 minutes. So if you can get something knocked out in 12 minutes, the chances of you doing it frequently, often, and every day is much more likely. So instead of trying to do a 30-minute mobility routine, or I even find if you try to do it as a warm-up, a lot of times it gets skipped just because warm-ups in general get skipped. So I think, and this is just my opinion, that it's better to do it in the morning. There's probably some research behind it. I'm not gonna look it up just because it doesn't really matter that much. Either you can do it in the morning or you're not. But I think it's better. Again, it's gonna bring that nutrition to the joints. It's going to facilitate the mind map, which is going to help you get into positions of dominance. And the more often you expose your body to extreme end ranges of motion, the less it will freak out when you do end up in those positions when you are not expecting it. So that is kind of end goal of mobility / joint mobility is get into those positions in a safe, controlled environment. So when you're in an uncontrolled environment, your body doesn't freak out and tear, which is what it does because it tries to tighten up and protect it. So that is our joint mobility 80% solution for the move portion. And next one, we will get into the 80% solution for the fight at a deeper level. And I will see you next time.